please make it loud for Josh Johnson!
It's a beautiful time of year. Love is in the air. You can tell. You see people smiling at each other for no reason. This is the time of year where you look over at somebody and it's sunny out, and so they look back at you and you both smile. It's not like December. December, you look at somebody and they look you in the eyes and you can tell that they're like, what? But this is a very sweet time. You see all these people getting married. We're getting into wedding season and stuff. In New York, it seems, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce are getting married. And I've never seen a wedding that had this much sleuthing to it. Like this is genuinely wild. Apparently they're gonna get married at Madison Square Garden, which already implies you have an extensive guest list. That's like the only billionaire wedding I've seen people get excited about, that they like want to know more about. Like Bezos got married around this time that I was here last year, and he was getting married on like a super yacht, and people were like, oh, I hope it doesn't... Do you know what I mean? Like details about the wedding kept coming out and they were like, ooh, it'd be a shame if it, I mean, I'm not gonna do anything, but maybe God will, do what's right. And apparently they're building a castle inside Madison Square Garden. Yeah, apparently they're gonna build a castle for the wedding to be in Madison Square Garden. I've never planned a wedding. But if I went to anybody, they were like, I want a castle, I'd be like, ooh, this might be a touch much. You know what I mean? Because people forget Taylor Swift's like a billionaire because she doesn't give the billionaire vibes. Usually a billionaire is like off-putting to look at. I'm just speaking on the most famous billionaires that we have. Like the billionaires that if I say their name, you know them, you wouldn't just be surprised they were getting married. You would be like, someone lets you touch them? That's the general vibe. Like if I was like, oh, Elon's getting married at Madison Square Garden, you're like, ugh, okay, sure, right? But then also thinking about, like, when you look at Elon, you don't look at someone... I don't know, it's surprising he has children, is what I'll say. That's the nicest way to put what I clearly mean. It is an odd reality to live in, where that man has several children by different women. Like, that's also insane. But yeah, there's a level of fame that I imagine must be somewhat difficult. And I know people go like, oh, boo-hoo, they're famous and they're rich. And it's like, sure, but I think that there can be times where you would like to just have a regular moment, and that becomes impossible because you reach a level of fame where you're known all over the world. And with being known all over the world, most people are normal people that'll just be maybe a little bit excited if they see you, or they'll just notice that they saw you, right? Like there are a lot of people who would say, oh, you know what's crazy? I think I saw Taylor Swift leaving this hotel, whatever. And then they move on with their lives. But then with that sort of attention comes an economy of people who are not normal, who are excited to exploit you, or who are trying to engage with you in some way to get some of that attention off of you and onto them, or to just sell the amount of attention that they got from you, right? I don't really have these problems, and I'm not saying that I want them at all, Like I did Jimmy Kimmel's show a while back, and I was there the same night as J-Lo. Same night as J-Lo. And so I was like, oh, I might meet J-Lo. That'd be crazy, And I don't know much of J-Lo's like music or movies, or I've seen some of all of it. You know, like you know what I mean? Like I'm not like a J-Lo head like that. Like I'm not like, oh, it's happening. I'm more just like, oh, that'd be really cool if we passed by in the hallway and I could be like, hey, I like the one where you were with Matthew McConaughey. That was fire. You know? But the thing about it is, like, you show up, and when I showed up to Kimmel's studio, I was in a car, and there were paparazzi there, and then there were also just fans of the show and of J-Lo, I'm assuming, there with like things for J-Lo to sign and stuff, and people were taking pictures. And I get out of the car, and they definitely thought, I didn't tell them this, but they definitely thought I was gonna be J-Lo. They were positive I was about to be J-Lo. They could just feel it in their bones. This must be J-Lo's car. And so then I open the door and I get out, and to hear a crowd in unison go, oh! It definitely lets you know how famous you actually are. But so many people are getting married this summer. You even saw that couple. You saw that couple climb the Empire State Building. What is it with New York right now? What is in the water? This couple climbed to the top of the Empire State Building. And like the actual top, like the antenna, like where it ends. The most dangerous part to climb is what they climbed. I just want to stress this. So they climbed the Empire State Building and they let this flag loose. And the flag said, when the power of love beats the love of power, the world will know peace. And there were like 5, yeah, sure, yeah, you can. There were like 5 minutes there where people were wondering what this was about, because this is not something that happens every day. You may have a flag on you, you may have a message that you want to get out, but climbing the Empire State Building doesn't occur to most people. Activists or not. Even if you suggested it, they'd be like, maybe like a YouTube banner or something. And so then no one really knew what it was about. Some people thought maybe it was some sort of like protest of the administration. Some people thought it was specifically some sort of ICE protest or something. And then they climb back down, not all the way down, just down to the almost top of the top. They climb to right below the antenna, and then one of the climbers proposed to the other climber. And, you know, she clearly said yes, jumping around, hugging and everything. And I wasn't in New York when it happened, but I can gather from social that everyone saw that and went, ugh. Because it quickly went from a potentially ambiguous political statement to like, oh wait, did y'all climb just for everyone to see your proposal? Like some of my friends were so mad. Some of my friends were so mad because they plan on proposing this year. I'm not gonna say which friends, but I have a couple friends plan on proposing this year and they were like, oh! That's not fair. Because you gotta understand, every proposal that seems even slightly accessible becomes a competition with your proposal. So now there are dudes that are like, I gotta outdo the top of the Empire State Building. Because here's the thing, you can go to what they call the top of the Empire State Building. You can do that on a tour. You just go up in the elevator and they'll give you a tour and they'll be like, hey, here's the history of the building. Isn't this so fascinating? And then you can get to the top. It's not the top, but it's like the observation deck, right? And there have been people who have proposed at the observation deck. And so I can only imagine if there was somebody who got up that morning and was like, visiting New York City, you know? Like, it's a beautiful summer and everything. Sunny outside. I planned something for us, babe. And then she's all excited. She's like, you planned? Yeah, I planned something for us. And then he doesn't even tell her what it is. He's like, just get in the taxi. Let me whisk you away. And then they get to the Empire State Building. She's like, oh, I've always wanted to go. Oh, this is amazing. I've always wanted to do this. And you know, we're from a state that's flat, so we can't. I can't even imagine how high it is up there. And then they start, taking the pictures, because you can take a picture as soon as you get in there that they give you later. It's almost like a ride. And then they take that elevator up to observation deck. Maybe he even paid extra to go to the top part that they don't tell you about when you go to the top, and just a little extra top, They get that VIP experience, and then they're standing there, and she's like, wow, look. That's Central Park. Look, that's our hotel. It's so low. Look, the sky. Feel like I could touch it. And then he's like, yeah, this is the moment. Because the thing about a proposal that, you want to remember it forever. And maybe those thoughts are going through his head. Like, just when you see how excited she is and how happy he's making her just by having a plan. Just like a single. How happy she is. He's like, yeah, this is it. She's the one. She's absolutely the one for me. I can't believe I got so lucky. And then, he reaches in his pocket. And then he hears a scream. He hears a scream because someone has noticed a couple climbing the antenna. To the top of the tip of the Empire State Building. And he's like, uh-oh, is that a terrorist? Because they were wearing black. They had their faces masked up. That's some terrorism. Okay. Well, in case something happens, maybe I should do it now anyway. And then he sees them unfurl that banner, and it says, the power of love beats the love of power, the world will know peace. And he's like, oh, okay, so not terrorism, all right. Wonderful, wonderful. We can remember this moment because we'll be like, hey, remember the time that those two protesters were like, and then we were like, that's us. We love each other more than we love, but we don't have any power. And just as he's about to kneel, he hears another scream because one of the climbers just proposed. He couldn't have thought that they were going to propose when he was going to propose, or else he probably would have been watching them like fall. Come on, it's windy. Yep. I saw the foot slip. Come on, fall. But then that guy kneels down and he sees him propose to her. And he had to be thinking in his head, why couldn't it have just been terrorism? This is... Yeah, my buddy went to propose. He's a little older, and so when he went to get down on that one knee, the hip and the knee clicked at the same time. He was over here. She heard all 6 clicks on the way. And then my man proposed. And she said yes and knelt down and kissed him. And then was jumping for joy. But now he really locked in. The whole rest of the night he was over here sitting on the bar stool like this, like. Oh. I think back to when I moved to Chicago, and when I was in Chicago, I was pretty broke and everything, so I would just go to shows that were as cheap as possible. Like there was a show that was $5 to get in, okay? And the show was like an improv show. It was very fun. It was a really good time. But then we're all sitting, hanging out after the show at the end, and it's a table of us, like 6 people, all strangers. And I didn't know anybody, so I was very happy to try to make some friends and everything. And everyone was just sitting around the table. A couple people were having a drink. And this one woman prompted us. She was like, hey, let's go around the table and tell a story. Everybody will tell a story about your worst ever second date. Because here's the thing. This is what happens, right? You will go on a date, and usually people talk about their bad first dates. Usually it's all like, oh, they showed up and they were, the devil. And so I was like, oh, you weren't the devil in your profile. It feels like you catfished me because you're like a demon, and you didn't say anything about that when we were meeting up or when we were chatting, so. But in this scenario, it was like, what was a date you went on that was good, and then you went on the second date, and that was so bad it made you question reality from the first date. And somehow everyone at the table had a bad second date story. Everyone had a story of like, they were so lovely when we first met, and then the next time I saw them, they were like very rude to the server. They were just like, I couldn't tell if they were in a bad mood or if they were really this person, and they just put on a face for the first time. And then this one woman at the table told us a story so insane that it made me question if I had really lived an interesting life at all. This woman told us a story about first date she went on. They meet up, and he really takes her on the town. He took her to a couple of really nice places in Chicago, like beautiful movie theater, but also the dinner was like this clearly high-priced, like fine dining experience with courses and everything. And he was really interesting to talk to, and they had a lot of the same interests and everything. It was just a wonderful first date. And so he even said to her, he was like, you know what? If I'm being honest with you, after the night that we've had, this is like it for me. Like, I really like you, and I just want you to know that I like you. I don't want you to walk away from this date having any doubt in your mind that I really like you. And she said that was really refreshing to hear because, people can play things close to the chest, or they can worry about getting hurt, and so then they can be coy and everything. Like, he was just saying it. And so a few days later, after some chatting, he asked her on a second date. And this date was going to be, he had planned it all out, it was going to be at his house. And it was going to be at his house like late afternoon, so. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like a 2 a.m. come on over. It was going to be late afternoon at his house. And she shows up and knocks on the door, and he doesn't answer. One of his friends answers, since the whole party. And it's at that point where she's like, oh, maybe he's invited me to like a barbecue, because she can see like people outside in the backyard, like drinking through the glass and stuff, and like a grill going and everything. And so she walks in, and the guy's like, oh, you must be Polly. And she was like, yeah, I'm Polly. And she's like, where's Steven? That's the guy. And she was like, I was here to meet Steven. He's like, yeah, okay. Well, Steven's around here somewhere, but I'll see if I can go find him for you. And so this is her first time at his place. And so she doesn't even know where to go next. And then this woman walks up to her and gives her a big hug. And it's Steven's mom. It's Steven's mom, and she says as much. She's like, oh, it's so lovely to meet you. Steven's told me all about you and everything. And she was like, oh, okay. And she said, when she was at the table with us, it was the first time she ever hoped that someone lived with their parents, because then that would at least make meeting the mother so quickly make sense. And she was like, oh, let me introduce you to Donald. And so she quickly met his dad right after. And she sees a little setup. There's a grill in the back, and there's a little setup. And she can't quite tell what it is. But there's like 12 chairs and a couple tables near the grill. And I think she's in such disbelief that she can't put it together right away. But basically, Steven, for their second date, planned a wedding. And you have to understand, we're all sitting around the table sharing like bad second date stories. You know, and and plenty of people are like, yeah, you know, the second time I met them, they were so rude. I was like, is this even the same person? And then she was like, yeah, Because the thing that she opened the story with initially when she was telling us about her worst second date ever was that she got arrested. And so even at this point in the story, I was like, when did you get arrested? Also, as soon as you realized what was happening, why didn't you leave immediately? And she was like, I was so shocked. I didn't know what to do next. And like, he had planned this whole thing, and I was so surprised. And I was like, please don't tell me you stayed in that house to just not be rude. I don't know what we need to do. I don't know as a society what we have to do. Ladies, if someone plans a whole wedding you didn't know about, you're well within your rights to leave that house. This is wild. And then she, you know, she was standing there shocked because not that many people were talking to her, but a couple people were looking, whispering and everything, and she was talking to the parents and stuff. And then finally, the buddy that answered the door comes back, and he's like, hey, Steven's upstairs if you want to go talk to him. And she was like, oh, yeah, I want to go talk to him. She goes up the stairs, knocks on Steven's door, and he's like, come in. And when she opens the door, he's holding a dress. And she's like, what is going on? What is happening right now? And he's like, what? You don't like it? I planned everything. I don't know the point at which you realize you're dealing with someone who is not from this planet. Liking it is not the issue at all. And she was like, we went on one date. And this man said, and it was magical. And before you have any sympathy for Steven, in case you were working on some of that, apparently, she said that, you know, she found this out after. Apparently, this dude had been like telling his family about someone, but not giving them enough detail. He had just been hyping up his family around the idea that he was getting married soon. But then he finally went on a date with Polly, and he was like, yep, this is the one. In case you were worried that he was in any way sane. And so then she was like, I can't do this. Like, this is wild. Why would you plan a wedding and not tell me? And I don't know you. I also don't know you. Like, because sometimes people who have lost it will then get you arguing from a platform you shouldn't be standing on. And she's like, I don't even know you enough to marry you. He's like, yes, but I think I love you. And she's like, you said think. And she was like, I can't do this. And he was like, come on, you can't leave. I planned this whole thing. Everyone will be so disappointed. And she was like, okay. And then, you know, rejection's hard. Even when you totally should be rejected by every metric of logic. But then he gets mad. He's like, come on now. I thought that we had something special. You know, I told them so much about you. And she turned and she was like, what? He's like, I told them so much about you, you know, like everything that you told me and more. And she was like, what do you mean more? And he was like, yeah, you know, like after our date, it just, everything went so well. I looked you up online. I was telling everybody about, you know, like. And then this is what she told us. She did push him out the window. And so then that. Just imagine that dude laying there in a stretcher, getting carted off by an ambulance, like, so it's a no? Oh. Yeah. Because it's very difficult to know how much a couple's love is like a performance and how much of it is sincere. And it's not for me to know. I'm not in it with them. But just sometimes, I don't know, you'll be scrolling and you'll see a picture of two people and it's like nice. But then you see a carousel of them that they're all hugging, kissing, everything. It's like, nah, y'all fight. Nah, I can tell. I can tell from the way this picture was taken that one, is not the first take, and two, y'all argued why you were making this carousel. There's no way you have it. Yeah. I even had a conversation once with someone. I was taking a bus, and the bus was delayed. And there's a layer of not personal space, but there's just a layer in your mind of like, I'm in my own little bubble when I'm traveling that breaks once there's something to bemoan together. Like, you could go on a long bus ride and not talk to anybody, but if the bus is delayed for 6 hours, eventually you're going to turn to somebody and be like, this is ridiculous, and then that might spark a conversation. Huh? My bus was delayed for 10 hours, and so we're all talking to each other and everything, and I had this conversation with someone, and it truly blew my mind. They said that they were coming back from a wedding where the bride did like a run. Yeah, like really jilted the groom right there. And like right there during the like actual holding hands, like the most important part, the part where you're like 99% married. You know the part where it's like almost done. And the reason that she did it was the night before at the bachelor party, the groom was, dancing with his friends, and they had rented out this entire like sort of ballroom setup, right? And so he and his friends were making like a big show of the karaoke. So it was like some of them were sitting in the audience, some of them were on stage, but it was like a proper stage. It was like pretty high. And he got really drunk, and then when he was singing and dancing, he tripped and he fell off of the stage onto one of the speakers. And he had knocked out his 4 front teeth. When it comes to teeth, your front are the most important. Your front are the ones that are the main attraction, you know? Like when you see the first 4 teeth, you're like, he has teeth. Like when someone smiles and you see the first 4 teeth, you're like, that no matter the size of the mouth, I can tell teeth are partying in there. And if you're missing the first 4, it throws all others into question. Because here's the thing, 1 missing tooth in the front is an interesting story. 1 missing tooth in the front, it's like, oh, what happened? Like, bar fight? 2 front teeth is clearly an issue. Something happened, but, you know, you get by on personality. 3 missing front teeth is like, ooh, did those just never come in? Because that, once you get to odd numbers, you may want to do something about that. 4 missing front teeth might as well be all your teeth. First 4 teeth cover a lot of surface area of the mouth. And so he knocked out his 4 front teeth. And, you know, it's bad luck to see the bride before the wedding. And so she walked down the aisle, and, she looked beautiful, so he wasn't smiling, he was crying. He was over here tearing up. I'm so lucky, And then she gets up there, and she had heard about the accident. They told her that he fell and he had hurt himself, but he was going to be okay for the wedding. But she was standing there, just over here, standing, waiting to start her new life with her husband. And then the priest asked the first question, do you take? And he said, I do, but the way his teeth came out and the construction of his mouth, it did have a little whistle to it. It did have a, like, I do, and so she ran, she left. Which is devastating. Her friend was saying, she asked her, like, why do you love him, right? And she was like, yeah, but in that moment, I just couldn't imagine, like, raising kids that didn't have their 4 front teeth and, like... And her friend was like, but he had the teeth. The teeth got knocked out. Why do you think because the teeth came out that the new kids just wouldn't have teeth? That's not how teeth work at all. Actually, I should back up. I forgot to tell you the story that I told about my worst ever second date. One thing, I'm not big on, like, policing how other people say things. But if you're gonna say, don't you hate when, make sure that thing is something that commonly happens. I went on a date, and first date was fine. It was good. We were getting to know each other. I think we were both a little nervous and everything. I can be a bit quiet, and, it was dinner, so we mostly chewed. And And so we don't even know enough about each other to know if it's like working or not. So we went on this second date. And on the second date, she was like, don't you hate it when? And then proceeded to tell me a story that I had never heard before or since. She said, don't you hate it when your dad is like leaving for work and then he backs up the car and hits your dog? And then pulls the car forward, gets out, sees they hit the dog, puts the dog in the trunk, and then comes home with a different dog? Ma'am, excuse me? So much has happened in like 3 sentences. So wait. Your dad hit your dog. And sadly, it seems, killed the dog. Then put the dog in the trunk. And then left and went to work. And then came home with a new dog that he wanted you to believe was the dog. And you saw all this play out, and she was like, yeah, I was like, look, you know, sometimes I'd watch him leave if, you know, I was a little kid, and so I'd miss him when he would go to work, and so I watched him out the window, which is how I knew he hit the dog. And I was like, and you said, don't I hate it when, as if that happened to me too, though. As if I've also had that same experience as you, which I think no one has experienced. Like, plenty of people, that does happen. Plenty of people have accidentally backed up on a pet or something like that. But then to come home, did he go to work? Like, could he have even gone to work? Because here's the thing, this stuck with me. As soon as she told me the story, that man, there's no way he went to work. He had to immediately gone to every shelter possible to find the right dog that looked the same, and then spend the work day teaching that dog its name. Because if you tell me that the dog named Sparky, and then he hit Sparky, and then he put Sparky in the trunk, and then he left, and then he went ahead and got a new Sparky to bring home that he hopes you haven't been paying too much close attention to, like, the pattern of the fur or anything. If it looks enough like Sparky, if you bring the dog home and the dog doesn't respond to Sparky anymore, you're gonna be perplexed. You're gonna be like, is he losing his hearing or something? And she answered all my questions. She was like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess maybe he did. Maybe he went to a shelter instead of work. And then I never thought about that. I never thought about him training the dog all day to learn its name. I was like, wait, what do you mean? He hasn't told you? What, did you ever tell? And she was like, no, he went to all the trouble, so I just acted like it was the same dog. What? She's like, yeah, I just didn't know. I don't know. I didn't know how to call it out. And he already, like, seemed so nervous when he brought Sparky home. I was like, that's not Sparky. Like, that's not even my dog. But I started taking up for the dog. I'm like, no. He did a switch face off on you. It can become Sparky if you want, but that's not Sparky. You just never brought this up. I'm like, nah, I didn't. I don't know. I just didn't feel like it would do any good. And I was like, you didn't, like, tell anyone? You didn't tell your mom or anything? Like, no, I was the only one that saw it. So I figured if he could keep a secret, I could keep a secret. And I was like, that's as sweet as it is horrifying. Like, there is a part of me that's like, okay, but then everyone else in the family is left in the dark where they're like, why is our dog suddenly no longer house trained? Like, because I was like, did the new dog act like the old dog? And she was like, no, not really. He actually bit a lot. I was like, wait, no. So you let your family get eaten up by this new dog who doesn't know why. And to be fair, I guess every dog could be like, why are they calling me this name? But you don't even know where this dog came from. Where did he get it? And she's like, yeah, I don't know. But don't you hate when that happens?
Please make it loud for Josh Johnson!
I'm trying to be better about doing some things myself. I'd like to be like a handy individual. I would like for things in my house to not break at all. But when they do, I'd like to not immediately think, oh no, I need help. I'm not even trying to be handy in the way that I could quit this tomorrow and then become a handy man. I'm saying I would like to know how to fix 4 things that will hopefully never break, so I never have to prove I know how to fix them. I would just like to look at a leaky faucet and be like, all right, I'm gonna deal with you. Yeah, you about to get dealt with. Yeah, you're gonna change after I get done with you. You're gonna stop. You will stop. I would like to live in that world instead of living the world where I hear a leaky faucet and think to myself, oh no, I'm about to lose my mind. Now I'm about to snap. This is like the telltale heart with water. This is exactly what Edgar Allan Poe was talking about. I'm about to lose. I would like to be able to do something about problems. And so I've been looking up little things, little like fix it yourself type stuff. Because now, I don't know if this is as big in Canada as it is in the States, but now there's like TaskRabbits and there's like whole apps where you can hire somebody who is handy at like something or lots of things. Like, I would like to be good enough at fixing 5 things that I could be a TaskRabbit for somebody else, and then I come over and they're like, the faucet. I'm like, I already got it. Don't even worry. Don't even worry, all right? And then I actually know how to do plumbing. It's not just me hitting a faucet. It's not just me being like, act right. Act right. Drooling all over the sink. No. It's time to cut it out. And so I'm trying to be handy because you can't always rely on a TaskRabbit. Like, sometimes it's nice when a friend is handy because then you could just call your friend. You're like, hey, look, I need some help. The faucet, and I don't have know-how. And then your friend comes over, and now not only did somebody help you, but now you can watch a movie, you can hang out. You can't just try to hang out with a TaskRabbit. That's kidnapping. They get very uncomfortable and they leave quicker. It doesn't matter if you yell out after them, I have pizza. And so I've been trying to be more handy, and so I've been reading different books on what to do when the faucet gets attitude. And there are some things that you can sort of DIY yourself, and there's some things you're expected to. Like, IKEA is made for like a DIY, but you are on your own. You will be on your own. You go to IKEA, you buy the thing, you start building it, and if anything goes wrong, you could call IKEA. You could do that. But just know when you call, they're gonna talk to you like everyone else did it themselves. And so there is something especially wrong with you that you can't figure out bookshelf, right? Somewhere along the 5th shelf, you got confused and you were like, what do you mean I'm supposed to do the same thing the whole time until I reach the top? No. I've called before. Sometimes there's numbers on instructions, and I've called the number on instructions, and if you want to hear judgment clear, when you call the number on instructions, they are so surprised the phone rang. I've been putting together stuff. The one time I was just putting together like a little nightstand, and I didn't know if a piece was missing or if I just bought a bad nightstand because it was very wobbly. So then I went ahead and called. And when I called, they picked up, and it just sounded like they were at their house. They didn't pick up and go, "Oh, nightstand company, how can I help you?" None of that. They were like, "Hello?" I'm not saying I'm a businessman. I'm not saying that I'm a businessman. But if you are a business and somebody calls your business, maybe just say the name of the business first, and then how can I help you? I'm just throwing that out there. Because when I called, it was a lot of numbers too. There was like an 800 in it. This wasn't just somebody's house. And so I called, and they're like, "Yep." I felt like I had the wrong number. And so I was like, "Hey, I bought one of your..." "Who is this?" "I bought one of your nightstands, and it's real wobbly, and I put it together, and I don't have any more pieces, so I think I did it right. Is there anything you could do to help me?" And then he was like, "Yeah, there's a panel that's in the box. Is that panel attached to the back of the nightstand that helps with the wobbliness?" And I was like, "Oh, no, it's not attached because it's just cardboard." It's just cardboard, so I thought that couldn't possibly be part of the nightstand because it's cardboard, so I thought that there's no way you want me to screw cardboard into wood to make it not wobbly, to make it more stable, because it's cardboard. So like, what if I had a drink on my nightstand and then the condensation, like then I just wouldn't have a nightstand anymore. Like I'm one glass of water away from not having a nightstand if the cardboard is the back of the nightstand. And I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. If you thought "yep" was unprofessional, I said what I just said to you, and then he said, "You called me," all right? Sir, what? What? Oh. And I'm also not necessarily the most handy with figuring out what piece is missing of a thing and stuff, so I need a lot of help. And I've been trying to chip away at it over years and years. I've been trying to get better at being a little bit more handy around the house. Oh. Because I have friends that are handy. Like I have friends that will be able to take something apart, put it back together, and it's always very annoying. It is, because they love telling you how they did it. They love you. You didn't even ask a question. You just come over to their house and they take you right to the dryer for no reason and be like, "This thing was busted. This thing was coming apart." And actually, I had to pull the whole door off. Had to buy some new screws for the door and everything. Had to take the engine out. I don't know what dryers have in them. Had to take the engine out. Had to replace the engine and put the carburetor in the bag. It's a new carburetor now. Now it's going to last for 10 more years because I'm handy and I know what I'm doing with appliances. Meanwhile, you're like, "Shut up." No, whenever somebody's handy, they can't just keep it to themselves. It's always a flex. It's always like, I built the tree house for the kids out here. Did the whole platform myself. Had to hoist it up with some ropes, like in the old days and everything. No, it's pretty sturdy. We got the little rope ladder. You can climb right up there and everything. It has a load-bearing weight of about 500 pounds. I tested it myself. And you're like, "Oh, shut up. Why don't you just hire a TaskRabbit?" Because there's some things you shouldn't necessarily be handy with. Every once in a while, it's best to just let a professional do it. Like my friend He's kind of handy. He thought he was handier than he was. He thought he had a bigger hand. And he was trying to fix his own garage door. Man was trying to fix his own garage door. And the crazy thing about fixing stuff is that whatever you do to get it to the point where it feels fixed to you can probably last about like 5 uses. You will not fix a broken thing, but fix it enough to act right like 5 times to the point where you build confidence in yourself that you fixed it, and then it breaks out of nowhere. At least with plumbing, you know pretty quickly if you've messed up or not. You know, like the drain isn't actually trying to trick you. You know, if you get under there and you're doing this stuff, you know what I mean? And then you do the thing where you got your legs hanging out from under the counter and stuff. And then you come from under, yeah, go ahead, turn on, see. And then the faucet's like, you did it. It's not gonna be like, and then 3 days later, actually, no, it's mud, sorry. We've been building up mud the whole time. You either fixed it or you didn't. When it comes to some of these garage doors, you can feel like you really did it. For about 5, maybe even 6 uses if you're lucky. Maybe you can even get, because the 6 uses is, okay, we need to go up, we need to go down. We need to go up, we need to go down. We need to go up, we need to go down. Uh-oh. Oh no. He was trying to fix his garage door, and he fixed it. And then out of nowhere, he had it up, and he was trying to bring it down. And you know, garage doors get pretty predictable, especially the ones with the sensor on the timing of going down. You even have some people get so confident in their garage door, they'll hit down and the car's not even in yet. They'll hit down and they're still parking when the car just perfectly, as soon as they get done parking, the garage door closes. His wife needed the car, brought the thing up, she backed out. He was bringing the thing down and he was coming out to wave goodbye at her. And it was when the garage door decided it was done living a life as a garage door. It decided to blossom into the guillotine it always wanted to be. His wife said she had never seen a garage door close this fast. It started off normal. It started off, and then just out of nowhere. Now you gotta go to the hospital. When they ask you what happened, you have to say garage door. Like they're supposed to know what it means. I try to be handy. Tried to put up a hammock. You know, a hammock for relaxation. I've never been so stressed out before a nap. I've never been. So the hammock seems simple. You need a little bit of tension, right? You don't need so much tension, because that's the other mistake people make. Some people will put so much tension on it that they are sleeping on a rubber band. Need a little bit of tension, just touch of slack and everything. And this particular hammock had to be tied around the tree. Some of them you tie and you like screw in or whatever, but this one just had rope tie around. They had a specific knot. I tried to follow the knot that was in the hammock book, but a knot is hard to follow when it's just pages. There was no video. It was just pictures, and the pictures were just people holding the rope different. This is not helping me at all. I'm trying to tie this hammock around the tree, and it's just pictures going. was one picture had 3 arrows. What am I supposed to do with that? Had 3 arrows. It was just. When is which arrow? When is which arrow? I see 3 arrows. What order do they happen in? And so then I get frustrated, so I keep trying to do the knot that they said. So I'm over here doing the loop-de-loop and the around and then through and then back again. And I got all this slack. I don't know what that's for. I go the other side. Other side's not any better. The other side had different knots for some reason. Why are there foot knots and head knots? Shouldn't it be the same knots on both sides? And so then I tried to tie those knots. Those knots were like more complicated, but I swear I measured it out and put the hammock where it was supposed to go. But once I had all this slack and then one side I was pulling, try to get enough. I finally got it to a nice little slope. But now I have to get in a hammock. Some things nobody teaches you. Because now I'm trying to get in the hammock and I'm like, okay, all right. And I swear every time I move, it moves. This hammock did not. If the hammock could talk, it'd be like, no. I swear I'm trying to hold open the hammock and then also like put my foot in the hammock at the same time. And no, I don't want you in my mouth. I'm trying to get in the hammock. And so then I put one foot in the hammock. I've never needed a break so bad from trying to relax. Because then I put this whole thing together, I'm sweating, and then all I want is to lay in the hammock. I put my foot in the hammock and then I was like, hey, because my friends were with me. They watched me put it together. I was like, hey, all right, look, can you come hold this hammock down while I get in the hammock? And they were like, I don't think that's how a hammock works. Like, that's how it works today. I'm not gonna keep trying while y'all watch me struggle. So one friend came over and held the top of the hammock. And then you said you were gonna hold it. You said you were gonna hold it. And finally, he comes, holds the top. My other friend holds the bottom. I hold it right here. And I swear to you, as soon as I dozed, it snapped. I don't know if you saw The Odyssey yet. Some people have seen it, and they are so mad. Some people are really mad. Some people are so angry. They saw The Odyssey, and they're like, no! What? How? Now, look, if you've been to high school, you know the story of The Odyssey. And I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm not here to talk about the movie specifically. I'm just saying it's very funny that some people were so mad when they saw The Odyssey, where they were like, what? Black people? What? But the black people are in the movie too. That's not fair. Black people weren't even invented yet. How are they in the movie? It's not right. No, this is great. No, this is very funny. It's very... You know what I mean? Sometimes like racism comes out and it annoys me or it makes me concerned, but this one was very funny. This one... It's like, you can't make her black? What? No! If they would just come out and be like, hey, listen to me. I have nothing. I have nothing, all right? Which is why I need everybody in the Odyssey to be white. I have nothing. And even though this won't bring any material difference to my life, it's all I need to get by. If they would just say that, I'd be fine. I'd be like, oh, wow, I didn't know you were struggling there, but it's the fact that they come out and they're like, what, black? Nobody was madder. Nobody was madder than Elon Musk. Oh, he was furious. Elon Musk was like, how could they do this? Billionaire, by the way. How can they do this? No, it's just funny. Okay, this is maybe I'm the only one that's gonna find this funny. I can accept that, but I would just love if Elon's at home just being like, when are they gonna leave our people alone? When? We've been through so much. No, Elon was very mad. He was very mad in a way that was very fun. Because he was like, this is crazy. This is insane. This thing is gonna fail. And then not only did it not fail, people liked the movie very much. And he was like, you know what? I don't even need y'all, because y'all, this isn't even historically accurate. Oh no. Oh, buddy. Who's gonna tell Elon what a myth is? We're not even sure if most of these people actually lived. And he's like, it's not historically, the story that we made up, you gotta keep it the way it was in my head. In my head, there were no black people.
got to keep it that way. That's not fair.
And he said that he was going to use Grok to make an AI Odyssey. Which, yeah, I mean, go ahead. Okay. Sounds great. Let's see what that looks like. I'm excited. I'm excited for the Cyclops to have 2 eyes. No, do it. No, it'll be dope. It'll be dope because we know Grok is great. Would it be that, look, this would be very funny. Elon's so upset that Helen of Troy is a beautiful black woman in this Odyssey. I mean, it would be very funny if he made his AI Odyssey with Grok and then Helen of Troy was Asian. That would be incredible. This is a beautiful Asian woman. And Elon's like, no! Let my people go! No. He even said he wanted Mel Gibson to direct it. Which which is very funny. Because Mel Gibson has directed movies. Like, Mel Gibson can direct a movie. But you already said it was an AI movie. I'd be offended if I was Mel Gibson. I'd be like, what? But you have real money, Elon. Why? That'd be like if you were in a bar fight and then you were like, my buddy will back me up. He'll back me up right now. And it doesn't even matter, his legs are twigs. Your buddy would be like, what did I do to you? What? No, that's what... It's so funny that he wants to make an AI Odyssey. Which is kind of fitting for him. It is. Because when you do something with AI, and I don't know, maybe this will rub people the wrong way, but I just truly believe it's true. When you do something with AI, you didn't really do that thing. Like, I'm sure there are going to be people that are like, no, I made this thing. It's like, well, you didn't, or you would have. Do you know what I mean? Like when you make something with AI, you let AI make it. That's what actually happened. When you're like, hey, I made this beautiful picture, and it's like, how'd you make it? Oh, with this app where I typed in make a beautiful picture. Oh, buddy, you know you didn't do that, right? It's like we've all become the kid again who's like showing everyone a magic trick that doesn't fool anyone. You know, it's like when a kid shows you a magic trick and they're like, look, I can make the ball disappear under the cup. Okay, you ready? Here's the ball. And so... Ta-da! It's exactly like that, but with everything. You know? And I'm not saying the things that you make with AI don't end up existing. I'm just saying that AI made them. The actual work, the actual things that make up the end product of whatever it was that you wanted was already made by other people. It was already made a long time ago. And what AI has done is it's scraped the internet. It's come up with the best combination of things to try to match your prompt to give you that thing. But even the AI didn't make it. Other people made it. Whatever it is. And it's very funny to me because I feel like, I do feel like in every way, Elon is just the Grok version of a bunch of Nolan protagonists in his movies. I'm sure Elon watched Oppenheimer and was like, looks familiar. But that really couldn't be further from the truth. Oppenheimer was a genius. Here's the thing. Here's what I think, because there are some people that say Elon's a genius, right? And I don't agree. I don't know, man. I don't know. Where are his patents? Like, he's like an inventor and all this. So where are the patents? Where's all the copyrights? Where's all the... I mean, I do think that Elon is smart enough to buy. He buys things that other people already made, and then he becomes the face of them. And so when they do impressive things, it looks like he can do impressive things, but all he can really do is yell at other people. That's like his main trait, is that he's like, I'm gonna work 80 hours a week, which I don't even think he knows what work is, but he'll be there. Don't get me wrong, he's there, he's there screaming, so I guess that's work. Like, he's there screaming at a real engineer to make the thing. But no, I don't think Elon is anything like an Oppenheimer. I mean, I guess if Oppenheimer... I guess if Oppenheimer didn't know how to make the bomb, but then yelled really hard at everyone else who made the bomb, and then they made the bomb, and then he was like, I made the bomb by myself. In fact, don't put anyone else in the movie. I made the bomb by myself. I was by myself. I think that very much Elon probably sees himself as, or would like to be, Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar. I mean, he loves space. That's gotta count for something. He loves space. He's always trying to get up there. He's always looking up there. He's always like sending rockets to go high five the atmosphere and stuff. And once again, he's smart enough to buy, so he does buy the stuff and then he owns it. And I guess when you own it, it's the same as doing it. You know, no, it is. This is the same. If you have money to buy something, you basically know how it works in and out. No, that's how money works. That's why people that have billions of dollars are so much smarter than us, because they can buy stuff. No, if I buy my mom a car, I can basically build one. Yeah, so he gets to be around people who actually know what they're doing around rockets, because he bought the company, owns a company. That's the same. He might as well go up himself and just do it himself, you know. Except in Interstellar, if Elon was in Interstellar, like if he was the actual protagonist of Interstellar and he was up there trying to save humanity or whatever. You know what I mean? It would just be different. It would be like he was fighting to get back to a daughter who didn't want him here. Like, it's a... And I shouldn't say like a daughter. He has like 75. So it's 75 daughters who don't want him here. You know, yeah. It's just someone who watches those movies and takes away all the wrong lessons. I can't believe, I don't know. It's very funny to me that he's so bothered by it. God, he's so dumb. He is. I was like looking at I was looking at some of his rants, and I was just like, come on, man. I'm surprised he wasn't like, shouldn't he be named Odysseus? Odysseus is like too black of a name. You know what I mean? No. I'm sure Elon watched the Batman trilogy and was like, yeah, that's me. That's me. And look, that one he's at least kind of close to. Billionaire. He's a billionaire. So, like, that's something. And he's the type of billionaire that's kind of like a Bruce Wayne in a way. I could easily see Elon if he was a bit more fit. No, if he was a bit more fit, I could easily see him dressing himself up, going to downtown Brooklyn and assaulting some people. Like, I could... No, 100%. He already lives in such a panicked world. This dude lives in such a tense world where he's constantly sharing the worst of the worst that could possibly happening, but giving no context, just making it broad brushstrokes of like, oh, this must be all Muslims, this must be all immigrants, this must be all, and he just lives in such a deep paranoia of almost everybody with Batman money. That's crazy. I could easily see Elon grabbing somebody in a costume and be like, oh! Imagine Elon on Halloween just grabbing somebody in clown makeup. Why you trying to kill me, Joker? Yeah, it's bad. It's very weird too, because I feel like I see Elon as so many of the Nolan Batman villains. You know, like he talks a lot like Bane. By that I mean I never fully understand what he just said. Like I never. First time I was watching Dark Knight Rises, and Bane was like, "It doesn't matter who you are." Matters a blind. I was like, yeah. When did he cast Elon? I could easily see Elon in that role. I was born by. I'm not a man. Not. Because every Nolan movie doesn't matter. I mean, I think Elon even saw Inception and tried to do it. He did. Y'all saw him at the White House tweaking out. That man wasn't sure if he was asleep or awake or anything. That man, high as a kite next to Trump. Just... No, I think he could identify a lot with the main character from Inception, because I feel like He's only ever seen the backs of his children's heads in the distance. He's never like... It's like, I'm coming home, XO1329. That's how I knew he was gonna have a lot of kids. Once he threw numbers in there, I was like, bruh, no, you gotta give them full names and memorize them. You're supposed to be a genius. Don't do that. Don't know. Stop having babies and naming them 12. You know that's not right. And so it would make sense. It does actually, now that I've thought about it, it makes perfect sense that Elon would make a AI Odyssey. He doesn't really respect art. He doesn't really respect people. He doesn't really respect labor and effort. So of course you would just put the prompt in. Have Mel Gibson point at something. No, we got this dude. We got this dude who has such a horrific outlook on the world. All that money, all those resources, all that influence and power. And what do you do with it? You basically kneecap it, and then you turn around and you use some of it to try to make the rest of humanity as paranoid and terrified as you are. That's all that's really happening. This dude visits countries and talks about how they're all gonna die and whatever, because the immigrants are coming. It's like, but you were, all right. Because what is he really doing with it? He's just traveling around the world, fear-mongering. Just goes over to different countries to be like, the immigrants are they're gonna kill all of you. They will. The immigrants, oh, it's so dangerous. No, Muslims, you know what I mean? This dude is running around the world terrified. And if you really wanted to point at an immigrant who has the death of so many on his hands as going to countries just impregnating people, it's like, brother, a mirror. Get this man a mirror. No, it is astounding, because a lot of people would say, how is he this way? Why is he this way? All that money, he can't just be happy? You can't just dip? Be like, from now on, I just enjoy sunsets. And some people point to, his dad. And they're like, oh, well, he had a terrible childhood, or at least he says he did. And his dad has very publicly sometimes made fun of him or not said anything when people disrespected him. And so people with empathy can, peel back some of the layers and say, hey, maybe this is where the thing started. It doesn't excuse anything that he's done, but if you can really understand what someone's been through, you might understand the behavior, you might be able to help a person stop it, or when you see it in other people, understand it in time to stop them from doing harm. But I think that we look at things in a very linear way when it comes to harm, especially to people. We look at, this person was bullied, this person got power, this person became a bully, and we see all of it in like a straight line. And so we think that if this thing didn't happen, maybe this other thing wouldn't have happened. And I think that completely disregards people's actual nature sometimes. Like, what if it doesn't work linear in that way? What if someone knew? I know we can't know the future, but what if someone knew what someone would be like? And they treated them like that accordingly before it even happened. Some would say that's unfair, but let's be honest. Ask yourself the question, if Elon was your kid, would you be nice to him? I don't know. I mean, there's some cause and effect there, but also, what if you just knew? What if you were like, You're already a little bit upset with yourself. You made an Elon. That's kind of on you, but it's still Elon. Ugh. And he's in your house, he's eating your food. He's calling you Papa. Maybe. You tell him something that actually is very important for him to hear. Because the thing that is important for him to hear now is just stop. 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 No, stop. Stop. No. Stop. Stop. You're not a genius. You didn't make anything. Where are your patents? You yell at people who can do things to do things, and then they do them, and then you take credit. You're smart, but you're smart enough to buy. All you've ever done is buy things that were already made and then take credit when the thing gets a glow up. You're good at marketing. You're good at pitching. You're good at grifting. You're very good at grifting. This dude, he grifts so well, he makes it like an art. It's kind of beautiful to watch. This dude is made of government contracts and subsidies and all this help from different governments, then turns around and talks about how he's going to cut the waste, fraud, and abuse in other governments, even though he lies to get what he has. It's kind of mind-blowing. And so maybe you sit him down and tell him, look, I don't care. I don't care if you're the richest man in the world. I don't care if you're a trillionaire. Because of how you behave, because of how you think, you are a loser. I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart, you know you're a loser. You know it. You know it, which is why you can't stop. It's why you always need to be the victim. It's why you always need to find someone to pick on. It's why you're so scared of everybody, because you're scared of people seeing that you're a loser. Like you're just, no amount of money clearly will do it. You're a loser. Nobody wants to be around you. Nobody likes you. There are people that will lose their lives because of the decisions you made, all to get what? More money? But money isn't what makes people like you. Maybe money will get people around you. They'll want to be in your orbit so they can get some of that money. It's not about you. It's never about you, because people don't even really see you. And when they see you, they walk away. They do not like being around you. And you didn't really build anything because you come from apartheid. You come from money. If your dad wasn't your dad, you would have nothing. You wouldn't be able to have these extra chances to fail at a business and ruin a business and make a terrible, bad business decision that wastes billions of dollars and still come out on top. You're a grifter at the end of the day. You're a liar. You're a schemer. And honestly, without your dad, you wouldn't even be someone that you would give the time of day. You wouldn't even be someone who you would see come to another country as an immigrant and give a chance, because that's not who you are. Not even on the surface level is that who you are. At deep down and on top and throughout, you are fully and totally a loser. You have nothing, and honestly, you're worth nothing. And that's a crazy thing to say to a 6-year-old. But maybe his dad said it because he knew.
Mira,